Okay, clase. From the last video, you learned about the present perfect, and specifically the regular verbs that acted in the present perfect. Well, now we're going to look at some irregulars. So, again, like I said, you have learned that the present perfect consists of two parts, haber, which is the verb have or has, and the past participle, meaning you add auto for AR verbs and ido for ER and IR verbs. Well, of course, there's always an exception to the norm. There are a few verbs that don't allow the normal pattern when it comes to the present perfect and the past participle. So what I mean by that is instead of the past participle being auto and ido, like they normally are, a few verbs will have a different ending. These irregulars are on the following slides. So, to help you remember the irregular verbs with different past participles, I, of course, created a wonderful acronym for you all. Rev McCaff, PhD. In parentheses, Reverend McCaff got a PhD. Isn't that great? Reverend McCaff got a PhD. So great. So, each of those stands for an irregular verb in the present perfect tense. The R, the irregular form of it would be roto, which means broken. The E, escrito, written. The V, visto, seen. The other V, vuelto, returned. The M, muerto, which means died. The C, cubierto, which means covered. The A, abierto, which means opened. The F, frito, which means fried. That one you should be pretty familiar with, considering that when you say fried foods or french fries, you say blank fritos, papas fritas, right? Okay. Puesto for the P means placed. H, hecho, means done. The D is dicho, which means said. And on the side right here, I have the verbs for you in their original form. So romper, it means to break, right? And you would think if it followed the Norman pattern, it would be rompido with the IDO. But it's not, because it's part of Reverend McCaff got a PhD. So the irregular form of it is roto. Right? Same thing here. The verb in its original form is escribir, which means to write. But in the, it's an irregular verb in the present perfect, so it becomes escrito. So on and so forth. Ver becomes visto. Volver becomes vuelto. Morir, muerto. Cubrir, cubierto. Abrir, abierto. Freír, frito. Poner, puesto. Hacer, hecho. And decir, dicho. Okay? Now, here's some práctica just for you to be able to see it in a oración. Tú me has roto mi corazón. You have broken my heart. He escrito un libro. I have written a book. No lo han hecho nada. They haven't done anything. ¿Has visto la película Rogue One? Have you seen the movie Rogue One? So again, it functions as far as part one is concerned. Hemos, on. That functions the exact same way. And really, forming the present perfect, even with the irregulars, it functions the exact same way. The only thing that's different is that these verbs are set in how they are, roto, escrito, hecho, and they don't end in ido and auto. So, here you go. The last side note I just want to make in regards to the present perfect is that certain verbs that have a double vowel in the meaning there's one vowel next to another in the infinitive form, except for those with the double vowel UI, require an accent mark on the I in the past participle. Here's an example. Caer, see how it's two vowels next to each other? That means to fall. Leer, to read. Oír, to hear. Creer, to believe. Traer, to bring. Reír, to laugh. So each of these have two vowels right next to each other, right? A, E, O, I, so on and so forth. So that means that, well, hold on. There we go. That means in its irregular form, it still ends in ido, right? But since there's two vowels, anytime you have a verb that has two vowels and you want to put it in the present perfect, for these, they're all regulars, so they're all going to end in ido and ado, but you just got to put an accent mark on these specifically. Leído, read. Oído, heard. Creído, believed. Traído, brought. And reído, laughed. Okay? And that is it para este video. Gracias por escucharme y vamos a verte mañana. ¡Tada! Or voy a verte mañana. Perdón. Adiós.